everyone, my name is Ariana Johnston and welcome back to my channel. It is officially June and that means it is Pride Month, so I decided to take some inspiration for the month as a whole in the LGBTQ plus community and create this fun rainbow look on my face. I also, at the end of this video, talk a little bit about sexuality and dive into who I am as a person and my thoughts on life and love in general. So if you are interested in how I did this makeup look or to hear me talk about myself, please continue watching, and thank you so much for all your guys' support. Alright, for the majority of the face makeup, I'm going to be using a Morphe M439 brush. This right here is just a thick, very dense, bristled face brush. It's typically used for foundation, but I think it'll be perfect for what we're doing here today. Starting off, I'm going to be using a red shadow, and I'm just going to start stippling this along the top of my forehead. Just the highest part of my head. And I'm being sure to really just put it directly in my hair. Continuing right along with the same brush, I dusted it off and wiped it just a tad, but I'm going to be going into a bright orange shade, and we're just going to continue going down. And I'm being sure to place the orange up onto the red ever so slightly, just to create that blend. Now I'm dipping into a bright yellow shade. The brush looks so pretty after using those 3 shades. Alright, so now I'm dipping into the light green shade. Now in with the blue. And with the purple. I'm going to go in and just touch up with a few extra colors to keep that blend going nicely. Alright, so now that I have my rainbow skin all complete, we're going to go ahead and move into the eyes. I'm taking a Morphe M433 brush, and with just a light nude shade, I'm going to apply that all over the lid. Since we went crazy on our face, I'm not going to go so crazy on our eyes, and instead we're going to do a rainbow eyeliner. And with the same eye brush, we're going to dip into a light brown shade, and we're just going to place this all in our crease and blend it out nice and seamlessly. This is just going to add a little bit more dimension to the eye and make your eye pop a bit more. Now, with the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Equality Bundle and a Morphe M251 brush, we're going to create our eyeliner look. I'm going to split up the colors some. The first 4 I'm going to use on one eye, and the second 4 I'm going to use on the other eye, because my eyes are a bit too small to place all the color on, so we gotta split it up a little bit. But first things first, I'm going to be using red rum, and we're going to be starting on my left eye here. I'm just going to dip in and start the liner. And next we're dipping in with the shade Flamethrower. Again, I'm just using the same brush. I just wiped off the excess red rum shade, and I'm just going right into Flamethrower. And now we're using the shade Queen Bee. Alright, so this is the liner on this eye all complete. Starting in the inner corner, we're going to be using the shade I'm Royalty. And as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm not going in the Roy G. Biv color pattern. Rainbow liner or rainbow eye looks in general have been done before, so I know that this look here isn't necessarily unique in any way, shape, or form. So I'm doing it kind of unconventional, I guess you could say, just to try to add my own flair to it, so it's not a carbon copy of what a million of other people have done. So I'm doing it in the order that I want to do it. And now with the shade Blue Velvet. And the shade Equality for the wing. So this is the liner on my right eye, all complete. In both eyes. Now the only 2 shades in the Equality Bundle that I did not use are the shade Diva and Breakfast at Tiffany's. And these are both beautiful shades and add to the rainbow fantasy, and I don't want to leave these left out, so we're going to do something fun with them. I'm not sure 100% yet, but we're going to do something fun. Alright, so I went ahead and added polka dots underneath my liner and underneath my brow with the shade Diva. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing with Breakfast at Tiffany's on the other side. Alright, so I went ahead and did my mascara off screen as well. And I'm really loving the way this makeup look is coming along so far. And I gotta say, I don't think my lashes have ever looked so pretty with just mascara on, so I'm very happy that they're cooperating today. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some blush to the right side of my face just to liven it up a little bit, since we do have so much fun stuff going on over here. It does look a little whitewashed over here, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of color and freshen things up. Just add a little bit of natural color back to my face. I haven't really described any of the products that I've used in this video because it's literally the same exact products that I use in every single video. It's literally just Jeffree Star cosmetics, so I didn't really see the point, but I am going to apply a little bit of highlight using the shade Ice Cold from Jeffree Star. I think this is just the most perfect white highlight that I have, so I figured it would go perfectly with this look. Alright, so I've never actually gotten creative with lipstick before. Usually I keep to nudes, mauves, reds, and I was going to stick with the shade Gemini, which we all know is my favorite lipstick, but I thought, you know what, why not just go all out and have some fun with it? So I'm going to use the shade Blue Velvet on my lips. I have never worn blue lipstick before. I don't know how this will look on me, but you know what, let's just give it a go. Alright, so my lips are a tad bit wonky, but let's be real here, when aren't they? But this is the finished makeup look all complete. Alright, so I couldn't be any happier with how this looked out. I think I say this every single time that I film a video, but I do think this is my favorite look that I've done on my channel. I'm not a makeup artist in any way, and if you've watched this video then you know that. But I have so much fun doing makeup, and I'm just a girl who wishes she was artistic, so I use my face as a canvas to have fun. And this is just another creation of that. But if you have made it this far in the video, I do want to have a little chat with all of you. The makeup is all fun, and I understand if you just want to watch that portion of the video because it is just creativity, just like a fun little tutorial. But I do want to speak a little bit about myself in this video since it is Pride Month, and I feel now that I have this YouTube channel and I am creating a platform for myself, and I have made almost 10 videos now, it would be nice to speak a little bit about myself and my journey here just as a human being. And with it being Pride Month and the topic of sexuality is on the table across all social media platforms this entire month, this is something that I have only spoken about with a few people, so I thought it would be fun to share with all of you just some of who I am as a person. For those of you who do not know, I am in fact a woman who is in a heterosexual relationship, well, marriage, with a cis male, but there is more to my story than heterosexuality. I'm not one to use labels. I don't see really the point in being defined by a label, but I do understand why it is important for people, and especially people who are just beginning to discover who they are and find themselves as people. I do understand the importance of labels, but for me personally, I never felt the need to label myself. I am not straight. Even though I am a woman who is in a straight relationship and am choosing to spend, you know, the rest of my life with a man, in my case that doesn't mean that I am 100% straight. Personally, I believe that sexuality is a spectrum. If you start at one side with heterosexuality and you start at another side with homosexuality, I think there is a vast amount of different levels and people in the middle or in throughout. Now, no side is above one another, but I do think that if it is a spectrum or a linear line, that people can sit on any portion of that spectrum. Me personally, I think I'm near the middle of that spectrum. Now, I've only been into 2 committed relationships in my life. I didn't date until the very, very end of my high school career, mostly because my high school career, I was trying to figure out what my sexuality was, because there was a long period of time where I didn't think I was attracted to men at all. And this isn't something that I have spoken to with anyone except for a few of my very close friends. So I've been in 2 relationships in my life, both of which happen to be with men. But I personally believe that love is love, and I am open to love no matter how that may come about. I would not define myself as a bisexual. I think if you wanted to put a label on me as a person, I think I would fall or constitute as pansexual more so. I believe that love is the most wonderful thing in the world. And I feel like my best way to describe it would be like my husband, his name is Danny. If I met a woman, a man, a male or a woman that is transgender, that is non-binary, that made me feel the way that Danny makes me feel, I'd be open to it. And I feel like it's kind of hard to explain since I am a woman in a heterosexual relationship. Obviously, I don't see myself trying to venture out or look at other people because I'm happy in my relationship as it is. But before I met Danny, I was open for anybody, any person of any background, of any gender, of any race, of anything whatsoever. I more so look for the beauty in a person when it comes to personality or just overall attractiveness, in my opinion. And that isn't influenced by gender to me. I have found myself attracted to all scopes of different people, of all different genders and all different races. So I think that if you wanted to label who I am as a person, when it comes to sexuality, I do fall under pansexual. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about me figuring that out, because again, I'm probably going to say this a million times, me being a woman in a heterosexual relationship, I kind of felt for a while that it didn't matter that I wasn't straight, because I found someone that I do love with all my heart and who makes me feel like the happiest that I ever been. But it does matter, and it is important that I do have this side of myself, because maybe my story and my background can help other people. Maybe it is good to talk about, maybe it is important to talk about. So this right here, I feel, is the perfect time to do so. Now, I did mention that I had several years of, I guess, confusion, you could say, in high school, but it started way before then. I had my first kiss, I guess you could say, in 2nd or 3rd grade, I believe. And this is so fascinating because this is something that I completely forgot about until I started thinking about filming this video and talking about sexuality, and then a bunch of memories kind of flooded back and it kind of hit me, and it's just crazy how things work out that way. My first kiss was with a girl. She was my best friend at the time, and granted, I was, 8, 9, so, I mean, whatever you constitute a kiss as at that age, I was, a child. The first person that I had ever kissed was, in fact, a girl. I remember having a talk with my dad about it. I remember, sitting down and having a conversation with him, and I also remember feeling, so embarrassed and so, weird, because I grew up in a very small, remote area. When I was little, I didn't know any gay people or any adults that were anything but heterosexual. So when I was little, I was embarrassed of it, and that was the end of that. Clear until high school. I just did my own thing and played The Sims, clear up until high school. I started to realize that I am attracted to more people than just men. So that's when I really started to question who I was as a person, question my sexuality, and I really went through it for about 2 years, I'd say, 2 or 3 years maybe. There was a good portion of time where I didn't think that I was attracted to men at all. Like I mentioned earlier, I thought that I was a lesbian, completely homosexual. And unlike when I was a kid, I understood it more, and I was a big fan of YouTube, so I watched people like Tyler Oakley and Hannah Hart, and I had people that I could look up to that were homosexual and realize that that was okay. But as I grew as a person, I realized that I'm not a lesbian. My sexuality is a bit more complex than just being attracted to women. So high school was, I'm not gonna say rough, because no one personally knew that I was you know, having these thoughts and having these feelings at the time, because it's not something that I talked about with people. It's not something I talked about with anyone until after the fact, really. But a lot of people used to call me lesbian in high school, especially like sophomore and junior year. And I guess they did have a good footing to assume that. I remember, like, I didn't feel upset or mad about it. I was just like, well, you know, what, maybe I am. What of it? What's it to you? Type stuff. Other than when I was little, I've never been embarrassed of who I am, and I've always been proud of who I am. When I was in high school and when I was really questioning whether or not I was a lesbian and who I was a person, there was a good portion of time where I thought that I was in love with a girl. I never acted on it because I was very unsure myself who I was, etc. But that is something that many people don't know about me. Really, no one knows about me. But it is a part of who I am, and a part of my history, and part of my character, so I do think that it is important to talk about. Don't take this video as like my coming out video. That's not what I want this to be at all. This is just me talking about who I am. I personally don't feel the need to come out. Maybe that is because I am literally married to a man, but I know who I am as a person, and I am able to talk about that with the people I feel closest to me, if need be. But with it being Pride Month and there being so much going on in the media right now, I feel like it is important for me to share my story and show that the LGBTQ plus community is very vast, and I myself am a part of that. Even though I am in fact in heterosexual marriage, I still am a part of that community, and obviously am an ally to everyone in that community. I'm just a face of said community in a very different way that I think a lot of people don't see. And I'll be honest, I never expected to talk about this on the internet. That's just me, and I'm happy with who I am, every single part of it. And I do think that my background as a person is interesting and different, very different than some. So I thought maybe it'd be important for others to see, because I feel like other pansexuals or bisexuals or people who waver between what they find attractive and what they're sexually attracted to in gender, I feel like when they are in a committed relationship, they are deemed that label. Like, for example, if a bisexual man is in a relationship with a man, he would be labeled as gay. He's in a gay couple. The same can be said with two women. You know, if two women in a relationship, one of those women might only be bisexual, but outsiders tend to just label that as a lesbian couple. So I do notice, especially with social media, that pansexual and bisexual people tend to get clouded a little bit. And I don't think that's necessarily on purpose. I think that's just a thing that happened because I guess people don't want to be like, oh no, that's a bisexual lesbian relationship, or no, that's a bisexual gay relationship. So it is a very interesting situation, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't have the answer to that. But I am just here to show that there is another side of that spectrum, and there are bisexual or pansexual women and men who are in heterosexual relationships, and they are deemed as heterosexuals, but that might not always be the case. And I think that's a reason why I personally don't see labels as being important, especially with my life, because to me, I am a human being who is in love with another human being, and I'm happy. And I think at the end of the day, that is all that matters, and every person in the world deserves that feeling. They deserve to have another human being that they love, and it cherishes them, and they can find true happiness in another human being, regardless of the gender of that person. And any type of love is just as important as the other types of love. All love should be seen as equal and is seen as valid, and I hope that one day we can see that validity and equality across the entire world, not just our nation. So I guess that is my 2 cents on makeup, sexuality, gender. But if you like the makeup look, please leave me a comment, let me know what you think, let me know what you want to see in the next one. And if you have anything to add on the conversation about sexuality, gender, love, etc., please let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your opinions, who you are as a person. I think that could lead to a very interesting conversation, and I'm always down for a good convo. Alright guys, so if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe, leave me a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.